Hello, dear IGCSE English as a Second Language students and candidates. This is Mustapha Rashwan talking to you. This is your writing course episodes. The first lesson here is conjunctions. And let's see what do we mean by conjunctions. Easily, conjunctions means to link your ideas. Okay, so when you start your writing, either you are writing a paragraph, you are writing an article, a letter, or an essay, or whatever the genre you are writing is, you will need to connect or to link your ideas. And the best way to link your ideas is using conjunctions. You may name it conjunctions, you may name it as connectives, you may name it as linkers, and also you may name it as cohesive devices. All are the same meaning. Okay? Cohesive devices. Let's see. Number one, we have two different kinds of conjunctions, so we need to identify what are they. This is number one. Number two, why should I use conjunctions? Why should I use conjunctions is one of the assessment criteria. So your work assessment criteria, one of the assessment criteria in Cambridge mark scheme or marking rules or marking criteria is using cohesive devices. What does this mean? So if you do use conjunctions, you will be awarded marks for using these kinds of conjunctions. If you do not use, so it means that you will lose marks or you will be penalized. So why you lose marks for this easy rule? This is an easy rule to use, this is easy rule to apply. So try to insert those conjunctions in your piece of writing. So this is a very necessary rule for which you will be assessed, for which you will be given marks or lose marks. Let's see here. The two different kinds of conjunctions are the coordinating conjunctions. So rule number one or type number one of conjunctions is what? Is the coordinating conjunctions. And here is the second type number two of conjunctions is subordinating conjunctions. What is the difference? In the coordinating conjunctions, there are 7, and those 7 conjunctions are in the acronym of fanboys. So this abbreviation FANBOY is fanboys. The fanboys are coordinating conjunctions, and those fanboys showcase the acronym of 7 different conjunctions. I mean that the F stands for a connective, A stands for a connective, N and B and O, Y and S. Each letter stands for a conjunction. Let's see here. The F is for the word for. The A stands for and. The N stands for no. The B stands for but. The O stands for or. The Y stands for yet. and the S stands for so. So we have different 7 conjunctions here that we can use in our writing. Be sure that you shouldn't always depend on the fanboys. So let's agree on this rule. You shouldn't always depend on the coordinators or the fanboys. What I mean here is that you should show variety of conjunctions. Okay, variety of conjunctions. As we mentioned, we have fanboys or the coordinators. Again, be aware of that. Fanboys. And we have the subordinator. This is a different kind, by the way. Subordinator, which we name as subordinating conjunction. And the third kind is transitional. Transitional or conjunctive adverbs. Okay, so be aware of those 3 different kinds of conjunctions. Again, coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. If we started to read these 7 sentences, and be aware here to our note, I stayed home. For means because, means since. It was raining. What you noticed here is that we used a comma before the word for. So use a comma. Here's the rule. For the fanboys, use a comma before the fan boys. Like if you used and to connect 2 sentences, comma before and, comma before for, comma before nor, comma before but, comma before or, comma before yet, and comma before. So punctuation is very essential here. So notice the 7 sentences here. Read the 7 sentences silently, then tell me what you noticed. You will note that comma before for and comma before and here is also comma before nor and comma before but and comma before or, comma before yet, and comma before so. Here write a comma, or you can have coffee. So use comma before or here. But one rule should be followed if you used those 7 conjunctions to use a comma. All the fanboys must be followed by full sentence. Okay, full sentence. What I mean by that, so those 7 connectives must be followed by subject plus verb. So in this case you must use a comma before them. Okay, let's note here, if I wrote this sentence, I will meet him or not. what do you think of this sentence? Should I write a comma here? No comma is here because or is not followed by a sentence. But what if I said I will meet him, comma, or I will stay home? What do you think of those two sentences? Yeah, this is correct because or here is followed by a sentence. So don't use a comma. Again, the rule here again, don't use a comma if no full sentence is used before the fanboys. Before the fanboys. Don't use a comma if there is no full sentence. So the rule is use a comma if there is a full sentence. Now we learned how to use the 7 conjunctions here. For, which means because, and, nor, which means neither that nor the other, nor, but, which means, or, yet means also but, so you know the meaning. So your task now is to do what? Now we have a task. Task 1, each one of you write 3 sentences using 3 different conjunctions of the fanboys. Okay, I'm going to share a link with you in the chat box, the link of Padlet. Each one write his sentences in this website. Be aware of your punctuation. Be aware of the use of comma. You have 5 minutes, then get back to me. Okay, everybody, that's nice. Great work, and I appreciated your hard work. Here, we just want to read this note that fanboys, the conjunctions we already wrote some sentences right now, are used to form what kind of sentences? Compound sentences. Okay, so why do we use the fanboys in our writing to form what? To form compound sentences. So if I ask a question here, what is the compound sentence? Compound sentence means sentence number 1 plus one of the fanboys plus sentence number 2. So we have 2 sentences connected by or linked by one of the fanboys. It means that those 7 sentences are compound sentences. Somebody can read those sentences, please. Okay, after reading all of those sentences, we could identify that those sentences are what, ya shabab? Are compound sentence. Compound sentence. So this is very necessary in your writing. Let's see the other form of conjunctions and why do we use such kind of conjunction. We agreed here if the second is subordinators or subordinating conjunction. What is the subordinator? Subordinators يا شباب, subordinating linkers or subordinating conjunctions. It means the connectives that are used to form complex sentences. So why do we use the subordinating conjunctions to form what? To form the complex sentences. What is the complex sentence? It means two sentences connected by the subordinators. What are the subordinators? It's very easy now. Subordinators are other conjunctions rather than the fanboys. Rather than what? The fan boys. So all of this list of connectives are subordinators. None of them is one of the fanboys, like after, although, as, because, before, even though, if, and, since, also, though, unless, until, when, were, and while. Use these conjunctions in your writing to form complex sentences. So if I used one of this list, like after, we went home after the game ended. This sentence is what kind of sentences? This is complex sentence. Why? Because it includes one of the subordinating conjunctions, which is after. Let's read the second sentence. Although it was raining, we went out. Also here two sentences. This is sentence 1, and we went out is sentence 2. Both sentences are connected by the subordinating conjunction, which is although. So the sentence here is also a complex sentence. Number 3, as I was walking, I saw a deer. As is a conjunction, one of the subordinating conjunction. I was walking, this is a sentence, and I saw a deer, this is sentence number 2. So the sentence also here is a complex sentence. Another one, I stayed home because it was raining. Sentence 1 here is I stayed home, this is sentence 1. Because it was raining is it was raining, this is sentence 2. And the subordinating conjunction is because. So this kind of sentence is a complex sentence. What we learned right now is using one of those connectives of the subordinating conjunctions help me create what? Complex sentences. Okay, alright. So just we have two notes here. These two notes are very necessary. Number 1 is if you used one of the subordinating conjunctions, note 1, if used the subordinating conjunctions, the subordinators, okay, you must write two related sentences. So we must write two sentences. Never write one sentence only. which includes the conjunction. So if you wrote, for example, although, and follow it by a sentence, then full stop, this sentence is wrong because the meaning is incomplete, and this kind of sentence is named as fragment, which is wrong writing. But the correct one is writing although, follow it by sentence 1, then comma, then sentence 2. So as we mentioned here, the rule is using the subordinators, you must write two related sentences. So if I wrote, for example, although I was tired, the meaning is wrong, full stop. We must add another sentence to complete the meaning. For this reason, we name this kind of sentence as subordinate clause or subordinate sentence, because writing only a subordinate sentence without an independent sentence is wrong. So again, you must use subordinate clause followed by independent clause. How to correct this sentence? Although I was tired, what happened? I visited my aunt. So what happened here is I added here the independent clause, which is I visited my aunt, and here is the subordinate clause, which includes the subordinating conjunction. This kind of sentence is what? Complex sentence. The first sentence is subordinate, or we name it also as dependent clause, comma, the second sentence is independent clause. What is the difference here? Independent clause, it means the sentence with no conjunction. Okay, it can give a full meaning alone without depending on another sentence. Don't depend on another sentence. So for this reason we name it as independent clause. On the other hand, the dependent or the subordinate, it means includes conjunction before it. Before the sentence there is a conjunction, like although I was tired. So any sentence following a conjunction is named as subordinate. Okay, number one, the dependent or subordinate sentence, always a conjunction before the sentence. Number two, can't give a full meaning. This is rule number two. Number three, the sentence needs or depend on another sentence, to give or to complete the meaning. If your sentence consists of one of the dependent clauses and one of the independent clauses, so your sentence is a complex sentence. Before we go further, now we have a task. what is our current task? Number one, I'll give you a list of sentences and check if the sentence is compound or complex. Compound or complex. Number two, you should decide if the sentence is dependent or independent. We said dependent means subordinate. These are the rules for dependent. The sentence always following a conjunction. So look for the conjunction, and then the sentence after it is dependent clause. The other sentence that can give a complete meaning alone without depending on another sentence is an independent sentence. And here are the rules for the independent clauses. Revise them before you start answering. I'll share the tasks now on the screen and share your answers in the chat box. Share answers in the chat box or on WhatsApp. The number is on the screen here. Start now. Okay, we are back. Now we have the second rule. So we agreed upon the first rule, which is who can remind me with the rule? Yes, the rule is if I used the subordinating conjunctions, I must add another sentence to give me the full meaning. And here, rule number 2, this is very necessary, how to punctuate the complex sentences. Let's see and compare the two sentences here. If I said, although we never met before, I feel I know him. Here are two sentences. Let's write the same two sentences here. I feel I know him, although we never met. Notice the difference here. If I used the subordinating conjunction in the beginning, use comma in the middle. So you should separate the two sentences using a comma in the middle. So the rule again, using subordinator in the beginning of the two sentences means use a comma in the middle to separate the two sentences. What if I didn't use a comma in the middle when I use the subordinator in the conjunction? This will make a mistake. The sentence will be a run on or a fused sentence. This is wrong in writing. Okay, this makes you be penalized. You will lose some marks. This affects on the quality of your writing. If you wrote two sentences without comma this is wrong. So don't write because he didn't study, he failed. This sentence as a punctuation is wrong. You used here a subordinator in the beginning, so you must separate the two sentences with a comma in the middle. If you didn't use the comma here, the sentence is a fused sentence. Okay, let's go back again. Rule number 2 here, when I used although in the middle, if you noticed, we didn't need to use a comma. So you don't need a comma if you use the connective or the subordinating conjunctions in the middle. In the middle. Okay, let's apply the rule again, not to forget. If I said if you hurry, comma, you will reach early, comma in the middle, because I used the connective or the subordinating conjunction in the beginning. But if I said you will reach early if you hurry, you do not need the comma here. Here is the comma, okay, in the middle. And in the second example, we don't need a comma. No comma in the middle. And here there must be a comma in the middle. The reason is I used the subordinator in the beginning, so there should be a comma in the middle. But here I used the subordinator in the middle, so no comma will be used. The task now is to punctuate the following sentences properly and correctly. This is task number 1. I'm waiting for you to punctuate the sentences I'm going to share on the screen. Okay, our current task now is each one of you will write although in a sentence. Just one sentence, although in a sentence. Use it one time in the beginning of the sentence, and use it one time in the middle. What matters to me is to punctuate the two sentences correctly. Write although, so this is one sentence using although in the beginning, and this is another sentence using although in the middle. Punctuate both sentences correctly. Hey, here is hurry up. I'm waiting for your responses.